Again, no, I'd like to thank NMI Philippines for inviting me to become a speaker here before you. And also, I'd like to congratulate ISOG for another successful event. Now, a little bit information about me. I started lawyering way back in 1998 until 2007, and then I joined a BPO where I became eventually a regional counsel covering Asia Pacific, right? In this BPO, I got exposed to cybersecurity, right? And I was impressed with our cybersecurity guys. And first time I learned technical terms like shoulder surfing, piggybacking, penetration testing, which I thought back then was a naughty term. Hindi naman pala. Right? So anyway, moving forward, eventually became a adjunct faculty member at the Asian Institute of Management. Right? They have a very good program there, Master of Cybersecurity. I think some of the students, the graduate students are here as well. Right? Are you here? Okay na ba kayo? Are you already captains of the industry? Right? Anyway, so I think like Philip Po is also here. I think I saw him. Anyway, so I am here to discuss about cyber resilience. Now, what exactly is cyber resilience? But fun fact first, did you know in 1895, there's no record of any car crash yet? You know why? Because it was only in 1896 when the first car was released, right, and shown to the public. Now, what am I saying then? Sometimes we have new technologies that may have consequences that we did not intend to have, right? For example, when they created the vehicle, but moving on, there was eventually a car crash. And eventually, the seatbelt was invented. Now, how does it relate to cyber resilience? Anyway, remember, when we became all digitally transformed, we started our digital transformation process, mentioned by the early speaker, there was also a rise in cyber attacks and ransomware attacks. Now, definitely we all know as cybersecurity professionals, right? Cybersecurity is different from cyber resilience. Cybersecurity, you only mean that you protect information systems, right, to ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Cyber resilience is a little bit different, but of course, cybersecurity is a key consideration. We talk about cyber resilience, we talk about anticipating, withstanding, recovering, and adapting against cybersecurity incidents. In other words, AURA for short. Anticipate, withstand, recover from, and adapt against adverse conditions. Next, why do you need cyber resilience? Definitely, we need this to protect our assets against losses, right? If we talk about assets, it could be tangible and intangible assets. And of course, why? Again, because digital trust matters. What the speaker said a while ago, digital trust is important for the consumers. Next, so why do we need to anticipate, right? Why do we need to withstand? Why do we need to prepare for cyber threats? So let's go back towards history. You remember this guy? This is not Chito Miranda, right? This is, his name is Onel de Guzman. So way back in 2000, what did he do? He launched the first very damaging social engineering attack, right? Through the I love you virus. What was the intention? Pagka-Robin Hood siya. He wanted to steal passwords, right? But what was the impact? Losses globally, 15 billion. Right? Very damaging yan, yung ginawa ni Ondel. And unfortunately, he was scot-free. There was no law then existing to incarcerate him. And even the CIA had to shut down its email system. That's how bad was the malware that he invented and sent through the I Love You virus. Next, of course, the Sony cyber attack. Very, very familiar. If you love the movie, The Interview, right? It's about who? About a Korean dictator, and it's about the assassination attempt against that dictator. What did the attackers do? They exploited a system vulnerability, causing $150 million in terms of damages. But most importantly, if you notice my slide a while ago, one of the intangible assets that you need to protect is your intellectual property. That means for Sony, that would be their movies. In fact, there were 5 movies that were shared on the internet, causing losses to Sony. And worse, the emails, right, from the email system of Sony, they were actually reproduced, right, and shared. And what did the email say? There were negative words about Kevin Hart. They said Kevin Hart is a whore. They said Angelina Jolie had no talent, right? So the many things became difficult. I'm sorry. In other words, things became difficult for Sony. Even, and also, most importantly, they were threatened, right? They almost didn't show the movie. Even the White House had to call Sony, hey, you have to release the movie. You should not bow down to these cyber actors. Okay, next cyber threat. Are you familiar with the Maersk cyber attack? Right? So this one is more prevalent, more damaging. Doesn't involve many corporations, but involve the leading shipping company in the world. Now, how did the attackers do it? Unfortunately for Maersk, they were not the intended victim of the attack, right? They were, in a sense, it became a collateral damage because it was purportedly a Russian attack against Ukraine. It just so happened that they opened a file from this vendor and it infected the systems of Maersk. It wiped out the whole network of Maersk. Okay. Even they had supposedly backup solutions in place, they became useless because they were not prepared for this kind of threat when the malware's intention is not to exfiltrate data, but to destroy the system, disrupt, and to render the systems inoperable. Estimated losses, $300 million. What saved Maersk? Right? They have 150 domain controllers, right, necessary for their backup recovery program. Unfortunately, 149 of the domain controllers were wiped out as well during the attack. What saved Maersk? Right? Apparently, they have an office in Ghana which suffered a brownout then. Right? And because of that, the domain controller was saved. It was not wiped out. It was sheer luck that they were able to save the network because of a brownout. Not because they were prepared, not because they have the solutions in place, but simply because of pure luck. Right? Now, going back to the definition of cyber resilience, right? The ability to withstand, anticipate, recover, right? And adapt to security incidents. It's very, very important, right? As we went through the threats, right? Imagine, how did these companies who suffered from the I Love You virus, who suffered from the cyber attack, like Sony or like Maersk, right? How do you compare them, right, to the standards of cyber resilience or to the definition of cyber resilience? Did they anticipate the attack, right? Were they able to withstand the attack? were they able to recover from attack? Were they able to adapt from the attack? Right? So earlier, the previous speaker spoke about ransomware, right? And ransomware is something which is still that very vector or the very type of malware that will keep you awake at night, right? And it's still prevalent. And how do we, how do our systems get infected with ransomware? Basically, usually through phishing, and through vulnerability of our system. Okay. Next, of course, stages of ransomware attack. Right? So you don't. We're gonna share the slides anyway. I'm just going to go just showing the stages of ransomware attack. So definitely, I love your virus. 20 years ago it happened. Until now, why do we still suffer from social phishing? Right? We have yet to eliminate social phishing as a form of attack. Even also through vulnerabilities, history repeats itself in a sense, right? So the cyber threats exist, and what do we have now? We have the next generation of threats through the use of generative AI, right? In other words, the cyber attacks have now been turbocharged. Cyber attacks on steroids, so to speak, right? So threats still remain, but the battlefield has changed. The rules of the game have changed as well. The cyber actors, your foes, basically, they're better equipped with technology. In other words, if you're adapting to technologies, they're adapting too. And they're using the very same technologies that you love to use, right, for purposes of businesses and cybersecurity. They also have a way to use the same technologies against you for purposes of cyber attacks. Okay, so what now? So there was a survey saying that cybersecurity professionals are telling themselves they're not prepared for these next generation attacks. And most of these professionals are located in the Asia and the Pacific region. Where is the Philippines? We are in the Asia and Pacific. Baka mamaya, you guys are part of this survey. Are you guys prepared for this next generation threats? Right? Have you been prepared for the current threats? Right? Those are the basic questions you need to address. So we go back again to cyber resilience. Okay? That's the only answer, I believe, that can help you navigate this changing landscape. If you adopt cyber resilience in your establishment. And what are the factors, right? Leadership, right? The messaging should come from the top. There should be oversight. The leader should be the one in charge of your cybersecurity program. They should be accountable. That is why the NPC is making sure during their audits, which I was unfortunately became a part of, there was a huge thrust ensuring that the executive team, right, the CC12 level guys, they're accountable for their privacy program. And we know very well there can be no privacy without cybersecurity. Okay, human factor. When I talk about human factor, it works both ways, right? You have to train your employees to be prepared against all forms of cyber attack. I love you virus, the employees, when they were discussing later on, during a congressional hearing, what happened there, the employees were not trained, right, against phishing. When they saw the email, it's like just a movie, you got mail. I love you virus. Who's this from? Is it from my crush? They definitely clicked the email, right, and allowed the malware to infiltrate the systems. Now, of course, again, it works both ways, right? Not just training for awareness for the employees. You should also invest in your cybersecurity guys. I would assume that many of you are here. You are here now, press, because it is free. Walang bayad. And when you ask your bosses, can I attend this seminar? right? Convention, ISOG. Oh, ano ba? What's the budget? Free. Go ahead, you can attend, right? So what am I saying here? The leader should invest on their people. They should need training, right? Certification if necessary. They should do all those things, but they need to prepare for the future as well. Not just about the current threats, but also for the threats of the future. Technological solutions, it's there. You have to use it, right? You need technology to assist individuals as well. They go hand in hand, so to speak. Okay, another key component is adopting a robust cybersecurity framework. Why am I saying that? So you have the key components, you have the leaders, you have the people, you have technology. Now you need also a playbook, right? A playbook that will guide you, guide the leaders, guide the IT team, the cybersecurity team, guide the people, and also, and most importantly, and I refer you to the NIST cybersecurity framework that was updated in 2024. The key highlights, they focus on leadership, governance, and recovery as well, meaning they needed to emphasize resilience. When you talk about cyber resilience, as I end, it's the ability to anticipate, withstand, recover, and most importantly, adapt to the ever-evolving cyber threats. Again, so to conclude, the goal is to be threat neutral, right? You should be able to withstand everything at this point in the future. And that's the goal of being a cyber resilient organization. Through leadership, human factor, technology, and cybersecurity framework. Like what the slide here is basically have to map everything, right, on the NIST framework with whatever solutions you have, the leadership you have, and the human factor as well. On that note, thank you so much for listening to me, right? And I'd like again to thank NMI and ISOG for this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney John. Nakakatakot naman yan. Huh? The new threats on a steroid. There you go. So, question to all of you, I'm sure you're listening, and which is why we're all here. Are you prepared? So as he did mention, just to recap a little bit, the keys of cyber resilience, of course, stems from the top. We do have the leadership. And then next, we do have to train our people, which comes in the human factor and technology. We have to invest in cybersecurity. Let's put it all together in one framework. We need a plan. Okay, so keys to cyber resilience, leadership, as I said earlier, human factor, technology. What is cyber resilience? Well, it is indeed the ability to anticipate, withstand, recover, and adapt to cyber attack. And the key points? There you go. We must protect our assets.
We are network manager. For more than a decade in the industry, we have provided IT solutions designed to boost operations and redefine IT management. We have improved the lives over 100,000 users across the Philippines. Through our globally awarded and internationally compliant solutions, conveniently integrated IT management platforms, and efficient service provided by highly trained technical engineers. Our commitment to integrity and excellence enabled innovative ways to achieve fortified security, full asset visibility, and all-around control for the companies that trusted us through the years. At NMI, it is always our mission to improve IT lives. To know more, visit www.nmiph.com.